Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Harmony Project, where we try to help you bring some semblance of harmony into different areas of your life. Currently, we're focusing on marriage. Currently, today's scripture comes out of Ecclesiastes chapter 4,
Oh my goodness.
verses 9 and 10. Two people are better off than one, for they can help each other succeed. If one person falls, the other can reach out to help. But someone who falls alone is in real trouble. Boom. Let's jump into it.
All right.
So today we're talking about friendship and
Cultivating the friendship and joy in marriage.
cultivating the friendship in marriage. Yes, because we started out as friends.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
We did. Yep.
And I often think about like when people talk about like they meet someone like and they just start dating them right away,
Yeah. Yeah.
And they don't even like take time to like they try to get to know them in the context of a romantic relationship.
Yeah. I think that's how, I would say just about every one of my past relationships were just in a relationship. That's it.
I think it's pretty much the rule.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially and I say this as lightly as possible for those of you who aren't believers, but secular relationships. I think in the context of Christianity, because young Christians are encouraged to like court, like take time to get to know each other, like make sure the person is a good match spiritually, and you don't want to be unequally yoked and all those other things. So I think in the church, wow, I'm sure plenty of people rush into relationships in the church too. I mean, in fact, we've seen it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that there tends to be a higher rate of that in a secular relationship. I mean, especially with hookup culture, as
Mm-hmm.
prevalent as it is.
Yeah.
And as soon as something is like no longer good, as soon as the pie's gone rotten, like it's time to bounce. So I think starting off first, we're looking at marriage as a lifelong friendship,
Mm-hmm.
not just a piece of paper that shows you're legally committed.
Well, and I also think that yes, it is a lifelong friendship. Um, and going back to the hookup culture, as you said, even if people get into that kind of a relationship so early on, they're still like if you follow all of the things that we've talked about so far,
Mm-hmm.
I mean that will help build that
Yeah,
friendship.
yeah, yeah. If you decide to pull the trigger on a hookup, in hookup culture, and just get going with somebody, you can always build on that for sure.
Mhm.
Um,
Sorry, that was a sidebar.
that was it's all right. It's a good no. It's a good point. I think that yeah, you shouldn't be too quick to abandon what you're already involved in, like
Right.
just because you didn't get off to a good start. You know,
Yeah.
not everybody has the opportunity that we had,
Well,
and
and it's never too late.
yeah, it's never too late, and it's not like I don't think like God like destines you to necessarily be with somebody. I think that God equips you to be a good spouse, and then when you find that person, you're equipped.
Yeah.
Because if I don't know, I know it's kind of a touchy subject, but I was listening to an Orthodox priest the other day he's got this really good podcast on roots of Orthodoxy, and he talks about how people talk about like their one true love and how that really doesn't exist. Like there's not like one true person for you out there that you pray for God to turn you into the perfect, like prepare to be the perfect spouse, and build up those qualities in you. And then when someone comes along who is a good match, you're prepared to engage with that person. And so I know that I've been praying to be a husband for a couple years. Like I wanted to be a good husband when I got out of prison. I wanted to be prepared for that. And I think the timing between us was perfect.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
For sure. And I also feel like it also helps that we enjoy each other's company really really well.
From day one.
Yeah.
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 Well, and it's not, I would say that I fell in love with you in infatuation rather quickly within just a matter of a few months. But there were like certain qualities that that I loved in you, and I knew I could like grow to love you. So when like people, like when I tell people about like how long have you guys been married, and I'm like, oh, coming up on 15 years of marriage, and they're like, oh yeah, like when did you propose? And oh, I proposed at 6 months. What do you mean you proposed at 6 months? Like people are shocked,
Yep.
and because
6 months in, and I
we were
said
friends.
yes.
Yeah, we were friends.
Yeah.
We had a good friendship. We established a good friendship from the very beginning, and
Well, and we had those prerequisites.
yeah,
And
well, and it's like I loved you. I didn't love you like a wife. I loved you like a friend. You know, and so the spousal love came later.
right.
You know, and I think that that's good. I think a lot of people like look for that love, like that spousal love, like right from the get go. Like it's a sign that you're meant to be together. If you can, well, there's that's kind of wishy washy,
Well, and it's not just about love.
right?
It's about like, actually liking each other.
Uh
There's
huh.
that friendship piece.
Right. What happens when the feeling of love kind of dries up a little bit, and you're left with two things. You're left with the relationship itself, the friendship, and
Mhm.
then the verb,
Right.
the love in action.
Right.
And I think that that's really sustained us,
Yeah.
through some of our more dry periods.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Cuz just us having that friendship, I
Sorry.
feel like that friendship probably made it easier for me to forgive
Mm-hmm.
because um yeah, I mean I loved you no matter what. Um but I also knew that, having that friendship with you was important to me as well.
We'll be talking about forgiveness next week.
Sure will.
So it's not about love. It's not just about love. It's about liking each other
Mhm.
and getting along, and like what happens when. Well, actually, rewind it a little bit. So looking at the biblical context of like spousal friendship, and I don't know how much of a line I can draw between these two, but it makes sense to me. So Adam and Eve. So Adam was alone, and then Adam, like God told Adam to find a helpmate, and there was nothing appropriate for him, so he puts him to sleep. He acts, the story of the creation of Eve. But there was no helpmate that was compatible. There's no companion that was compatible for Adam. And I just think it's really important that we remember, like as spouses, not only are we friends, but we're helpmates, like in
Mhm.
times of need. Just like a good friend would be like, I can call Luke, when we're stranded on the side of the freeway at 3 a.m. on the way back from our honeymoon, and he just flies down, like that's the kind of friendship that we should have, where, and actually, we do have that kind of friendship because I
Mhm.
have been stranded on the side of the freeway and you have come to my
Or in a
rescue.
field, stuck in the mud
Yeah, with the kids in the Jeep.
while I'm at work.
Yeah, yeah. That was, yeah, you were pissed. So, but you came in, you helped me by taking the kids. So if they did come arrest me for trespassing, they wouldn't be in the
You had
car.
somebody on the way that was there to
Yeah,
help
yeah,
you.
yeah. Yeah, JP was on his way to pull me out.
Mm.
But yeah, it's important to also realize that in that friendship that we are each other's helpmates. That brings us joy. Like I
Mhm.
love helping you.
Yeah.
Being that friend that you can always rely on.
And I love helping you. Like I love being there for you,
You
especially in your time of need.
know. Which isn't very often because I'm a super strong, toxic man.
What about last night? What's for dinner?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh, well, and I think that this is another like really important piece is laughter. And I've
Laughter and
said it
fun.
before in I think the first podcast about how laughter is really important, bringing that joy into the relationship.
We do a lot of laughing,
Hmm.
often at the expense of each other,
Yeah.
which is okay. But we do. I know that laughter really played a key role
Hmm.
in like the development early on
Hmm.
between you and I.
The what was it? The assistant.
I was the assistant to the assistant. Oh no, I was the assistant volunteer manager,
Yeah.
or the volunteer assistant manager.
There
Well,
we go. There it is.
yeah, I was the
Volunteer
volunteer assistant
assistant
manager,
manager.
and I had a little desk and a little
Mm.
filing cabinet and a little telephone.
Yeah. All mini. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's because I was the assistant manager then, and so he was the
So the only time I
volunteer
could hang
assistant
out
manager.
with you was
Yeah.
when I was being the assistant manager. What about the time when we were the thrift store's out of coffee creamer?
Oh my goodness, I totally forgot about
Yeah,
that.
yeah. So thrift store was out of coffee creamer, and so she gave me some petty cash to go to Safeway and get some.
And keep in mind, he couldn't leave.
I couldn't leave. Yeah, I
He
wasn't
wasn't
supposed to be
supposed
like out and
to.
about because I was on a post prison supervision transitional program. So I had to be at the thrift store or I had to be uh
Basically, you had to be where you said you were going to
yeah,
be.
and I said that that day I was going to be at the thrift store all day, so I couldn't be seen anywhere else in the community. So I put on this oversized sport coat and some baggier blue jeans and a big old hat. I think maybe a wig and some sunglasses. And I went to Safeway and I got some coffee creamer for the ladies at the thrift store.
Oh my goodness, I forgot about that.
Yeah, I look like a bum, like the kind you see riding on a train back in the
Oh, it made me laugh
40s.
so hard.
Yeah, that was a good day. But we have had lots of moments like that though, where we just
Mhm.
bring joy to each other doing just dorky little things.
Mhm.
It is important to remember that laughter and fun are, I mean, they're key to a friendship, right? Like you're not going to have friends that are boring
Yeah.
and that are uninteresting. And so why would you do that to your spouse? Like why would you like knowingly just be boring and uninteresting?
I mean, we have our boring times, but even when we're sitting there in silence and we're not saying anything to each other,
We're going to send a reel.
yes, it is funny. That is true. But just even
Yeah.
that silence is,
We enjoy that time together though.
yeah, I think that's
The
kind of
silent
like our
moments.
quality time.
Yeah. Just
Well, some of it.
we have a lot of quality time now that the
We
kids
do.
have moved out.
Yeah.
It's all quality time.
Yeah.
It's just us.
Yeah.
We miss you.
We
Empty
do.
nesting at this young of an age is definitely tough.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
I always think it's funny when people like when we had joint custody and they're like, "You only have to have your kids half the week." I'm like, "What are you talking about?"
I always got so frustrated with that because, you know, a lot of people would say, "Oh, I just need a break from my kids." And I'm like, I would love to just have my
Yeah,
kids full
yeah.
time.
You don't know what you got till it's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Gosh, just thinking about it makes me want to cry.
yeah. You don't know what you got till it's gone. And I get it. Like parents get overwhelmed and they get stressed. That's why date nights are important. That's why
Hmm.
hiring babysitters are important. Setting time aside for each other is important.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like having that interwoven joy and that friendship in the home with your children is also going to do them wonders. Because what
Yeah.
happens when they become a spouse,
Yeah.
if they become a spouse?
Well, and that's why I think it's important to prioritize that the friendship with your spouse.
Yeah,
Do those things, spend the quality time with each other, even if you're busy.
yeah. Let your kids see you laughing,
Kind of like how we talked
having
about,
fun.
like in the mornings when we're getting ready for work, and even though we're busy, we still make time
Yeah,
to
connect.
give each other a
Yeah,
kiss, say how'd you sleep, anything like that.
pray, have some coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah, no matter how hectic the morning is, those things happen.
Hmm.
Even if like some of them don't aren't as long as we'd like them to be, they do happen. Uh, we don't have a lot of fun in the mornings, but that's okay. On the days off, we do, but on the days we work, it tends to be pretty.
We still have our moments where we laugh a little.
You have your moments where you laugh as you say something about my sexy ass walking up the stairs to the office.
Did you like that one this
Yeah,
morning?
yeah, that was good. Yeah, that was good. So prioritizing friendship, how do we do that? We spend quality time together.
I also think about like learning each other's interests and passions.
Like being genuinely interested. So you and I share a lot of similar interests.
Yeah, I mean, I think some of it kind of built over time. I mean, like the hiking. Like,
Yeah, that definitely wasn't a thing when we first got together. I remember when
yeah.
we went to Multnomah Falls and you and the kids were just not having it.
I was miserable because Titus was miserable and
Yeah, but your knee still had a lot of issues back then too.
I was very overweight too.
Yeah, yeah. You ran out of energy pretty quick. We had to take quite a few breaks going up. That definitely grew over time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely remember when you you were hanging onto my ankle so I
Yeah.
could take a picture. What
Yeah.
an idiot. It's like the stupid things. What if I would have fallen and died that day?
Oh, I know.
A picture's not even worth it.
No.
And I don't know where that picture's at. And was it even that good?
Who knows? Who
What did I
knows?
take it on? We didn't have smartphones back then. Was it your little digital camera I bought you in the pink case?
I don't remember.
Did I buy
I
that
know.
for you or did I steal it? I think I bought it for you because it was in a locked cabinet. Oh, happy
Moving
anniversary. I'm
on.
going to jail.
Moving on.
Oh, no, we were doing that was like our 60-day or something, like one of those month anniversaries when we first got together that I got that for you. I bought it. I was washing dishes at the time. Anyway.
Yeah. Anyway.
But yeah, the picture's not even worth hanging over the cliff, you dummy. Jeez.
Anyway, moving on to the hobbies and interests.
Hobbies
Going
and interests,
going back
hiking.
going back to the hiking thing,
Yeah,
like
that grew.
it did grow.
Yeah.
And and probably some of the other ones I think have grown too, because I don't even think that when we got together that we really knew what each other's hobbies and interests were.
Recovery.
Yeah, that was probably it.
Yeah, it was definitely heavy into meetings, NA meetings, and
But I don't think that was a hobby or anything like
I
that.
think
That was just a way of life.
that's interests.
For me, it was a way of life.
Well, but it's like I don't know. I think it's definitely more complicated than just saying it's interests or hobbies, but it definitely is that as well. I think it's deeper than that, but I definitely think like going to NA meetings and going to NA events, like that is definitely falls into the category of a hobby. I know when we first got clean, it was like a hobby, just like working out is a hobby, you know, like even though right now you're doing it because you made a commitment and you have someone holding you accountable. And it's like, I gotta wake up, I gotta do this. Eventually the point is to where it just becomes, you know what I mean?
Second nature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But recovery was definitely the big one for us.
Yeah. And I mean, going back to like the learning about each other's hobbies and stuff, like I knew in the beginning that, going out into nature and stuff, that was your thing.
Yeah, and we kind of did that together.
But it wasn't my thing. I mean, yes, granted, I loved going camping. I loved,
Mm-hmm.
going to the mountains,
Mm-hmm.
but walking alongside the river looking at
Animal tracks.
yeah, I was not interested in that. But
How long did it take you to like willingly do that with me? Because you did eventually start.
yeah, yeah. I mean, now when we go on hikes and walks and stuff, I'm like, "Ooh, I wonder where that poop came from."
Yeah,
You
yeah, yeah,
know?
yeah. I know that. Like, I think back to this time. Remember when I found those freshwater mussels? Like, you know where I used to go salmon fishing, right off the levee there by the ramp, my
Mhm.
salmon fishing spot in the trees.
Mhm.
So just upriver from that, right after where we did the dancing not long ago. Just so kind of like just upriver from the salmon spot, just downriver from that, there's like this little bar there, and I found some freshwater mussels, and you like started digging through the sand with me to find them, and there's only like 2 or 3 in there. You don't remember that?
I don't remember that.
I remember that. I was like super hot.
I still don't like going fishing
You're
though.
digging through the mud for shellfish with me along the river.
I don't remember that.
I that was back. That
It's
was back
funny.
when we were like had no money and lots of time.
I miss those days.
Yeah, me too. Back when we were broke, but we had all the time in the world to do stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, those were good days. We could
Yeah.
get back there. We just have to, be fiscally responsible.
Mhm.
Be fiscally responsible. It's worth it. I would like to, yeah, that would be really cool to get to the point where, as friends who have been married for a long time, we could just hop in an RV and go do something before we're in our 80s. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess that goes back to the shared interests and hobbies.
Yeah.
Because getting out, going traveling,
Yeah.
we both like to travel.
Our spot at the ocean.
Our spot at the
I
ocean.
love that spot.
Well, we liked to travel when we
We
first
do.
got together.
Yeah, we
Even
did.
if it was just short travels, like
Yeah.
to Warehouse Beach and
Yeah.
yeah,
Stay within the county.
yeah, yeah.
Because our Honda wouldn't go very far.
Yeah, that, and I was on probation at the time, so I couldn't go out of state.
I was on probation too.
Yeah. Oh, you were.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I think we got off probation around the same time.
Yeah. Your guy was Brown, and mine was Dan. Dan something.
It's
Anyway,
been so long you can't even remember.
someone said his name.
I think
Someone
it's...
said his name the other day, and I was like, "Yeah, that's his name." Yeah, I can't remember. Anyway, so what about now? We got shared hobbies now, but we also like have a really bad disposition to predisposition to like start something and not finish it.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of, I don't know.
It's a hobby we share, starting things and not finishing it.
And rocks. We love rocks.
Rock hounding, we do some rock hounding. A
Yeah.
couple times a year, we make it a point to go out. We got this cool spot out in the desert now. We've been going to the past couple years. Got to get back out there before it
Yeah.
gets too hot. So yeah, having the shared hobbies, a shared interest, and if you don't have any, or if it's like you're 10 years into your marriage and you're like, I have nothing in common with this person anymore, I think it's really important to get back to that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, so you don't like so that like the routine doesn't kill the relationship
I think that's
or the
probably,
connection.
yeah, I think that's one of the biggest barriers people have in their marriage is just routine.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I can imagine like if we just continue to do, you
We've
know,
done it.
do the morning thing and then
Yeah.
come home, say goodnight.
We've had the routine before.
Yeah, but I don't know that it ever really like killed our
It didn't kill our
connection.
relationship, but it definitely is. It definitely
That
caught.
down,
Yeah,
that lull.
yeah. It definitely causes a lull, like where we both go. We should probably spend some time together. I think we're
Mhm.
cognizant of it. I'm not saying like we go months without like talking or anything, but there have been months where we've just gotten caught up, especially when the kids were around. Like
Yeah,
we had the
the
routine.
busyness
Yep.
and
And
yeah.
then before you know it, it's like it's been 3 months before or 3 weeks before we've said anything actually meaningful outside of the here's what the kids did today, here's what I did today, here's
I
what needs
love
to be
you.
done tomorrow. Okay, I love you. Good night.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So definitely avoid maybe not avoiding routine, but not allowing it
To just kill that
to be what you
connection.
do. Yeah, just what you do every day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's really important.
I'm pretty good about messing up the routine. I'm kind of like a squirrel.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
you are.
Yeah.
You
And
little
then
stick in the spokes.
yeah, that
Hmm.
that segues really well into just like when you start feeling disconnected, addressing it.
Yeah.
Like, hey, like sometimes we'll say like I miss you, even though we've been around each other constantly. It's like I miss you, You're like, oh, I miss you too.
Yeah.
Because we've had a little bit of a even though it's like nothing serious, but we definitely know when there's been, you know, especially like right now, like I have to make it a point to not allow my tiredness to like turn me into a zombie. And
So what would you say would be one of your things that like I can keep an eye on of, even if it's just that those words of hey, I miss you, so that I can be aware of when, that routine or maybe we're a little disconnected. What would that be for you?
mm, I don't know.
I know for me, um something that like when I kind of feel like we haven't spent so much time is I ask you if you want to go for a walk.
Mm, yeah,
And sometimes you don't.
yeah.
And I know. I know.
I don't know if I
It
have
gets
anything
busy.
like that. Like I'm like I don't know if I'm like subtly. I'm just like I'm not very subtle about it. You are,
Yeah.
which you probably shouldn't be, but because sometimes I can be really obtuse. Uh, but no, I'm pretty much like we need to go do something. Like we need to make it a point, even if it's like even if we can't afford to like go to dinner, I'm gonna take you to dinner, or maybe we need to go for one of those drives, that we used to go for all the time. Uh, maybe we need to pray some more. You know, I know that prayer is big for both of us in feeling
Mhm.
connected. And so like today when we only get that, it's fine for one day. It's fine for 2 days, maybe even 3 days. But by like day 4 or 5, if we're just doing these quick like prayers before we get out of the car, I'm gonna like it's gonna start eating at me. So I know that that's when like you, I'll be like, let's pray, and then I can pray for like 15 minutes straight, and I'm like, okay, you got anything? You're like, no, you pretty much covered it all.
It's normally how it goes.
So yeah, I just
Mm.
that's a big one for me, for
Yeah.
sure. I'm gonna have to probably now that I've you challenged me. I'm gonna have
to think about
to
it.
think about it and like actually come up with something. Maybe we'll address that. Like, I mean, I'll address it with you before then, but maybe next week's episode,
Yeah.
before we really get going, I'll share with everybody who decides to tune into the 12 viewers that we have. Uh, I know they're all on edge with bated breath. Uh, you know what I come up with, but what about joy and laughter? I know that we kind of addressed that in the beginning, but what's the difference between happiness and joy?
Right. Happiness is short.
Yep,
Joy is everlasting,
yep.
or it can be.
The joy is underlying. It's a current, right? Happiness
Mm-hmm.
is temporary. It comes and goes. It's fleeting. So we find our joy, of course, in our relationship with God.
Mm-hmm.
And that joy bleeds into our marriage because we try to model our marriage based on.
Well, and I know that I also said it. I don't know if it was the first episode or the second, but how we talked about, even after we get into, some kind of an argument, we still find laughter
Yeah, that was in the
afterwards,
first one. Yeah,
because there is healing in that,
yeah.
because it brings it back to, yeah, we may have had an argument, but we can still enjoy each other and still have fun and laugh about things. And I think it strengthens that friendship.
All right, so you put me on the spot, so I'm gonna put you on the spot.
Mm,
What's one thing that consistently brings you joy in our marriage?
the laughter, it really does.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every
Okay.
time you bring a smile to my face,
No,
even when I'm angry at you.
that was a softball. Dang it! I thought I was gonna challenge you. That was like an underhanded pitch. Just
uh,
knocked it out of the park. Yeah, we do a lot of laughing. We definitely do a lot of laughing.
yeah.
Um, I think that laughter is definitely some of the best medicine there is when you are upset. But what happens if like you're upset and I try to make you laugh, but it kind of backfires on me?
Well, I'll tell you.
Okay, but so beyond,
Just like, what was it, yesterday? You had said something, and I said, David, I don't think that right now is the best time for you to put that joke in
yeah,
there.
yeah, we're on the way to work. Yeah, I remember that. And then you said something dumb going up the hill and chuckled to yourself.
I don't even remember
Me
what I
neither.
said.
Me neither. I don't remember what the whole thing was about. It's almost like it's like that time we got in a fight and we were like, what are you? We were on the
We
freeway.
didn't even know what we were fighting
Yeah,
over.
yeah, we were on the freeway and we're like arguing. Like it started out just so stupid over something like the grass is green. I think it's more of a hue of blue today. No, I'm pretty sure it's green. No, I'm pretty sure it's and then it just like blew up into this. Like we argued for like 3 or 4 miles, and then it was quiet, and then I was like, I started chuckling, and you're like, "What are you laughing?" I'm like, "What are we even arguing about? Like, how does this even start?" You're like, "I don't know." You know?
Oh, but it ended in
Yeah,
laughter.
yeah. It still brings. It's a source of. It is a source of laughter for us still. So
Yeah.
yeah, joy and laughter. So we're about to the half hour mark, and I really want to start pulling these in and getting them back. The last one I think was at 38 minutes. Before that, it was at 42
Yeah.
or 44. Maybe it was 42 and 44. Anyway, so our challenge for the week.
Plan one intentional, fun activity together.
Yes,
But it can't. What did it does
it
it?
can't be a part of your regular routine or
Yeah,
anything.
yeah,
Yeah, it needs to be outside of your regular routine.
yeah. So
So
no work, no
yeah,
daily, like, house cleaning, none of that. Just something that for
those aren't
the
fun
two of you.
activities anyway.
Hey,
I know she vacuums at 8:30 at night because it's fun.
it was 8 o'clock last night,
Eight
not eight
o'clock.
thirty.
Anyway, yeah, one fun activity. It needs to be. You can, of course, like we can't say random because our lives do have to have some structure, but as like random and almost spontaneous as possible. Like, don't be like, okay, 3 weeks from now we're gonna do this. Sometime this week, do something fun, something maybe you normally wouldn't do. Uh, yeah, and I get that that's difficult for some people. Like right now, it's difficult for us
Mm-hmm.
with my new schedule change, and it's going to be a little difficult, but I'm sure we can figure it out,
Mm-hmm.
even if it has to wait until next Saturday.
Next Saturday's the baby shower.
That's one fun activity that's outside of our routine.
That is.
Look, we already did our homework. Nice.
But it has to be just us.
I know, I know. So today, Karen celebrates 13 years, solid, clean, in recovery. She has almost 18
Almost
total.
18 from my regular.
Yeah, she has 18 years in recovery, but she's celebrating 13 solid clean today.
Mm-hmm.
And I have 16 years in recovery, and I am celebrating 13 tomorrow.
One day apart.
We are one day apart. Why
Tell them why, David.
we are one day apart because when we decided to get clean.
No. When I decided to get clean.
No, we had a conversation after the funeral. And it was like, we really missed the people. We were like, man, and you're like, yeah, think I'm going to quit drinking. And I'm like, yeah, I think I'm going to quit drinking too. And you're like, I'm done today. And I'm like, okay, well, I'll be done tomorrow because I still had a case of beer in the fridge. So we're one day apart.
Oh, my gosh.
Don't get between me and my beer. All right, guys. We love each and every one of you. To the 12 viewers that we have, we appreciate you. If you found some value in this, go ahead and comment below. If this is something you struggle with, go ahead and comment below.
Don't forget to do the fun activity.
Yeah, if you do the fun activity, or if you have an idea, go ahead and comment below for people who aren't creative.
Yeah, give us some ideas.
Yeah, we'll take some ideas. Anyway,
yeah,
that's the Harmony Project. We'll see you later.
Bye.